Hello everybody, this is Ben from the Blue Monday podcast, and I have just witnessed Ipswich 1, Birmingham 0, a win and a clean sheet on the first day of the season. Quite the excellent start. You may have seen my reaction to the team when it came out. So the first big news of today is that after a whole pre-season of 4-4-2 and working on Danny Rowe on one wing and bringing in Bersant Salina, Mick goes to 3-5-2 with no wingers. So we lined up with, I got it slightly wrong in the reaction video to begin with. It was Bart in goal. It was Spence made the third, centre half, Chambers, Smith. Knudsen wing back. I must admit, I went eek when I saw Knudsen wing back, and as you'll probably understand if you just watched the game, when I talk about the second half, you're going to see that I'm going to have to eat a bit of humble pie for Mr. Knudsen, who was excellent in the second half. So Iorfa played right wing back. It was Skews, Dozzell and Ward in the centre, with Sears and Garner making his debut. More from him later as well. Massive downpour from about 2:20 to about 3 o'clock, so the pitch was horrible wet. First half, kind of edgy start by both teams. Grounds with a shot straight at the keeper after a good advantage played by the ref. Dozzell had a weak shot, went wide. Then we saw the first of Robert's long throws for Birmingham, which turned out to be their biggest goal threat. Really, it's a good thing he was taking them because he's mighty in the air as well. Looked like a push by Morrison, but he wins the header and puts it straight at Bart. Good chance from there. Thought it was a foul, to be honest, but maybe I'm a biased home supporter. From corner, falls to Skews, takes a weak shot, and Garner can't quite get enough to kind of, put it in. Dozzell to Ward, lovely 1-2 with Garner, and Ward pokes it wide. This is the start of Dozzell getting on the ball. Interesting feature, we saw after about 20-25 minutes that Chambers, far from what we expected to be pushing forward, the ball going long and trying to squeeze the game up, was actually dropping off, and we're trying to play possession football in the first half. So pretty interesting kind of change from last season. Long throw, headed clear. Roberts comes back in and smashes it near post. Bart saves it well. Cross in, won by Ipswich. Chambers tried to save the corner. Strange decision. It gets headed straight back across. Falls to Adams and he curls it just over the top. Chambers should have probably let it go for the corner with hindsight. Mix up between Knudsen and Bart and lifted over by Davis. He only had a split second to take the shot. 1-2 on the edge of the box. Donaldson can't quite get there. Bart's out well, and interestingly, Chambers gave Donaldson a kick 30 seconds before that, so he couldn't quite get onto it. Great move from Ipswich here. Dozzell is now starting to pull the strings in the midfield. He gets Sears and it's snuffed out from a corner. Luke Chambers commits the best tactical foul I've ever seen. Birmingham are on the counter-attack. I'm screaming, foul him, foul him, foul him. He pulls down, I forget whether it was Davis or Adams, and doesn't even get the yellow card for the professional foul. Now, half-time, bad news. We don't know what's going to come of this. Dozzell off on a stretcher. He just started to get into the game and pull the strings, and he's off on a stretcher. We'll wait and see how bad that is. Crappy news. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not long. On comes Flynn Downs into midfield. Now, when you get a long injury like that, the player's concentration goes a little bit, and just before half-time there was a very odd kind of moment where it was Adams coming back from offside, holds his hand up and says, play on. And Donaldson goes in behind the defence, and he's actually clear, and he kind of tries to dink Bart and puts it wide. It was a good chance, but it was all just a bit confused after the injury. We go to the second half, and I must admit, in my chats with friends at half-time, the team now looks weaker with Downs in and Dozzell out, was the thought. Interesting one, not long into the second half. Ball goes over the top and Spence pulls down Donaldson. This is one for you Wallies that say, oh, he was the last man. That is not the rules. The rules are it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. So if you're ever looking for an example of when someone is the last man and it's not a red card, because that's not the rules, Spence pulls him down, but it's not a clear goal scoring opportunity, or obvious, whatever the wording is, because the ball goes all the way through to Bart and, you know, wasn't going to run into the forwards path. So yellow card for Spence. Davis with a chance from the corner. He puts it just across the face of goal. So Birmingham are actually on top here, and Ipswich are looking a little bit tetchy. But then Knudsen, who I said eek when he was playing left wing back, soars down the left wing, puts a cross in, and all the bookmakers in Ipswich take an absolute pasting, because on his debut, Joe Garner sweeps it in for 1-0. And that just completely changed the way the Ipswich players look. They all grew an inch taller after that, and from then on looked decent. Morrison with a little off the ball thing with Garner. We've said we know he's a spiky individual, so we're probably going to see more of that during the season. Ward steals it off Garner in midfield. Garner's now got his tail up in the inside right position, drives it across goal, and Sears is well positioned, kind of half cross, half shot. Then Stockdale with the weak punch, and Sears in with the shot. It's snuffed out and goes wide. Amazingly, Skews with a left foot volley. Unbelievable scenes. Deflects out for the corner. Garner heads wide from another corner in that kind of section of pressure from Ipswich. Decent cross from the left now for Birmingham by Adams. And Doy is one of these guys who's really big but isn't actually that good in the air. He towers above Knudsen but puts it over. More long throws from Birmingham. Garner heads well clear, and then Gardner back in on the volley, doesn't miss by much. Insure with a big overlap. The first crosses, Chambers seems to clear it with his penis somehow. It'd be interesting to see that one back. And the second is well saved by Bart. Insure kind of crosses it and Bart has to tip it over. It's going for goal. 73rd minute, Iorfa goes off. Webster comes in, which is probably the defence people would have wanted to see if it was 3-5-2. Anyway, Spence goes to wing back, Webster in right centre back. I think a lot of people would like to see Kenlock in there, but Knudsen's started well. Spence, nice dribbling cross here, and this is the moment where you're an Ipswich fan. 76 minutes, Sears comes sliding and he just misses it, and you're like, oh God, that would have been game over. 2-0, and we've won it, the winning chance. Keita comes on for Magoma, but it's a straight swap for Birmingham, so the kind of dynamic of the game doesn't really change there. Another headed chance for Ndoye again. He climbs well, he's big, he's not that good in the air. And then Birmingham, they huffed, they puffed, but Ipswich held out well. Interesting afternoon, a couple of things that were very apparent. I didn't see very many long goal kicks, and I didn't see very many long throw-ins at all. We had Chambers dropping back to receive the ball. Seemed a little bit of effort to play out from the back. That was going really well when Dozzell was on, and unfortunately stretched it off just before half-time. We'll see how that goes. Now, even more interestingly, in the second half, when Downs came on, Downs was actually entrusted to be the anchor position in the midfield, with Skews moving a little bit further forward. And for all my Skews bashing on the podcast, with Downs in that role, Skews looked a hell of a lot better a little further forward. Downs has everything that Skews doesn't. He can turn on the ball, he can play through the other team, and he just moves it all a little bit quicker. And it's very interesting that Mick, in his very first chance to get Downs and Skews together, has favoured Downs in that anchor position, so showing a lot of trust in there. Iorfa at the moment looks more an athlete than he does a footballer. He's certainly an absolute specimen of a human being, very tall, very rangy, but needs to work, especially in the wing-back position. I think Spence might be better suited there. Great debut for Garner, got the goal. Sears did his usual great work. You know those two have played well when McGoldrick doesn't get on the pitch at all. Ward made himself busy, looked very good. And Chambers and Smith in the back four. Chambers, if you look up your stats, you'll probably find he made the most clearances, you know, attacked the most headers, and, you know, Smith off to his side. They need to learn the 3-5-2, but there you go. Bart, a lot more short goal kicks. So a very, very encouraging start. I know you naysayers will say, well, Birmingham are in a bit of a mess and they haven't signed anybody. But this is the Championship. We're up and running now. This game is now not played on paper. It's played on the pitch. And Ipswich have got the clean sheet and the 3 points. And I can't say any more than that. We look ahead to Luton now. And will Mick stick with 3-5-2? Well, if the players need to learn the positions, I hope so. Will he change 6, 7, 8 players? We will see. Will it disrupt it too much? We will see. A great start. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think I'm completely over enthusiastic, tell me. If you think I'm bang on, definitely tell me. And tune into the podcast on Monday, Blue Monday ITFC on Twitter and at Blue Monday ITFC, sorry, Blue Monday on iTunes, at Blue Monday ITFC on Twitter. And off I drive. Thank you for watching.